Hello, this is our formal introduction to my YouTube channel. I would like to thank the subscribers that I have so far. It really means a lot, and I appreciate all of the support so far. So thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that little red box down there, just click subscribe, and you'll get updates on all my uploads, all my videos to come, and it's going to be really cool. I'd like to discuss some of that stuff that's coming. I'm a vintage pedal guitar amp fan. I love that stuff, and I'd like to do a lot of demos demonstrating the little tricks or the ins and outs of how all of that stuff works. And if anybody has any suggestions, you can leave a comment below, and I'll try to get to that, as soon as I can, or down the road. Also, like I said, on vintage guitars, I'd like to show how they work and what makes them tick, and maybe turn the viewers onto something that they might like. And I'd also like to do some sit-down interviews with some pro players, and I have a few in mind already. And I think it would just be, kind of one of those things where you can cut through all the normal every interview stuff and just talk about, gear, and kind of like a one-on-one close setting where they can just talk about their favorite piece of gear and give you a little in-depth knowledge on it. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm going to post a link to my Instagram page down here. And I'd also like to thank two of my friends who you should be subscribed to and you should be following. It would be Fret Junkies and Matt Tilley. Both of those guys really pushed me to do this, so I want to say thanks to them. So now, moving on to the good stuff, the gear. I got some questions about this, and this is my 1959 Fender Stratocaster. I've had this for about, I want to say, 3 years now. And an interesting story about this, it came out of Michigan, a place called Bizarre Guitars. The guy's name was Brian, and he was a really nice guy. He was really helpful with, just staying in contact and assuring me everything I wanted to know about it. But when I got the guitar, the entire guitar was spray painted black. Under the pick guard, somebody must have taped it off or something, because under the pickguard, all of the original sunburst was still under there. So it was just, it was spray paint, and it was really easy to come off. You could kind of take it off with your finger. So he was nice enough to say, "Look, I'll tell you what, I'll send it to you for 48 hours. If you don't like it, send it back." Because I was unsure of some things because it was painted, and I got it through the post office. I opened the box, I pulled it out. First thing I did was take the pick guard off, and I started seeing some details. There's some things that you can, I should first preempt that when you see like a guitar on a Stratocaster, especially, or Telecasters, Jaguars, you'll see a pre-CBS term. That's from the years, Fender started. You could be 1950 to anything prior to 1965. Early 1965 would be considered pre-CBS. So on these bodies, there were certain things that were done to confirm the year and that it was actually a legit, body. So I pulled the pickguard off. I pulled it apart. All of the pickups were original, untouched. The only thing that was touched was the volume pot was changed, but he included it in the gig bag. Came with a gig bag from 1959 too, a leather gig bag. So we included it in the gig bag, and it was an easy repair, and I repaired it. And this has all of the three pots are all original. The 48th week of 59, they're dated. All of the saddles are all original. They're discolored like they should be, like they always were. The only thing I did do, I refret all of my guitars with jumbo wire, 6100, sometimes 6000, if the fret tang is tight enough. The only thing I did do was swap out the saddle height adjustment screws, because I like my action really, really high, about 100 thousandths, and the stock screws just wouldn't let me get that high. So I swapped those out, and the tuners, I put a set of like a relic set of tuners on there, just so I wouldn't blow the original ones out. But other than that, it's the original whammy bar as well. It's a all stock 1959 Strat. You can see it has some battle scars. The pickup cavity there is scratched. somebody had drilled an extra hole in the pick guard at one time to hold it down. You know, and it's worn in pretty good. It's got some marks. Everybody kind of calls that like a buckle rash, but I think it's more from, you know, the nitro finish, which I'll get to in a second. But the nitro finish just on these old guitars kind of peeled off really easily. And once you get your sweat into there and you get an air pocket or it starts to lift, it pretty much just wears itself off. So anyways, so I got the guitar and it was all black. Kind of going backwards here, but it was all black. And I sent it to Gord Miller in Canada. And he was able to, with some process he does, take the black spray paint off and not, I don't want to say not touch any of the finish underneath, because there were some spots that he did touch up because it came off with the spray paint. But it's a 90% original finish. And that's it. It's great. It's a great guitar. The neck is super slim on it. It kind of tapers down when you get towards like the first 4 frets. About here from the, you know, the 8th fret to beyond, it feels kind of like a normal C shape, but from about here down you can really feel a taper. And it's enjoyable because, you know, I have bigger hands, and sometimes having a smaller neck in there, you can really just get around real easy. Original trim block. I set the springs up a little differently. You know, I use 56 to 10 or 11 gauge strings, but I only use three springs. I just found a way to do it a little easier where you're not putting a bunch of tension on the whammy bar, snapping it off. So that's it. That's my number one that I've been using in all the videos, and people have been asking, so I figured I'd talk about it a little bit. Now let's go in the amp room and light it up so you can hear what the pickups sound like. Alright, we're in the amp room now with the 59 Strat. I'm going to give a little shout on all the pickups individually, first starting with the neck. Playing through a 68 Super Reverb, kind of turned up a little hard so you can get that bite to it. bridge, which is just, you know, it's just a really snappy bridge pickup, like a typical 50s Fender, but you get that, you know. That's a snarl. You want to put a little fuzz on top, you know. So there you go. There's a little introduction, and I present you with my 59 Strat. Again, if you like what you heard, just like and subscribe, and I appreciate it, and check back for more updates. Thank you guys very much.